Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. This is the Home 411 show on AM 1220 KHTS with Randall Winter of Randall Winter Construction. We're talking homeowners insurance and other types of insurance. I think we're going to get into some contracting insurance, some liability.
You know what? I have Jeff Brown from NV Landscape here. You're like me. You're like a general, but on the outside, right?
It is. We take care of, we design, we build, maintain everything in the outdoor environment. But, as we're talking about insurance, one of the things that we always provide our clients with any proposal is certificates of insurance for workers' compensation, for liability, and also for auto, so that they get those certificates up front to know that we are covered, and it gives them peace of mind.
Okay, so you and I do that. And there are guys that aren't doing that because they don't have it, so they're going to be cheaper. What's the liability of a homeowner? I guess what does it cover?
Well, let's say you are working on a homeowner's property and you don't have any insurance, or let's say some other contractor is working on a homeowner's property and doesn't have insurance. If any of their employees are injured on that property, there's a chance they could sue the homeowner for that injury and recover damages from that homeowner. The homeowner's insurance should pay for that, but you don't want that to happen. What you want to do is make sure that the contractor has workers' compensation insurance for all of his employees. And it goes for all the trades, too. So when you get an electrician on the property, you want to make sure that they have general liability and workers' compensation insurance. That's done usually with a certificate of insurance, and you can ask your insurance agent to take a look at those and see if they are the kind of insurance you need.
Okay, so you want your contractor, before he steps foot on your property, to give you a certificate of insurance for workers' comp, so any of his employees don't get hurt, and you want him to give you a certificate of insurance for liability, so if some pedestrian walks by and trips on the contractor's hole, falls in the hole, they don't sue you, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, now, talking about that same thing, should that certificate from your contractor to the homeowner name the homeowner as additionally insured?
Well, that would be ideal. And yes, you do want that to happen. That can happen with general liability, not with workers' compensation.
Okay. So with the liability, what that does, though, and I'm not a lawyer, we'll try and get an expert in here, but what that does, from my understanding, is the legal defenses will now be handled by the insurance company, right?
That's right. The homeowner can now, when the homeowner gets sued,
they don't have to pay any money.
No, they would turn this over to their insurance company and also the contractor's insurance company and let those two insurance companies haggle it out. And usually the homeowner's insurance company will say, we're denying coverage on any of this, and they'll get dismissed from any lawsuit.
Which saves a homeowner a lot of grief dealing with
right.
it. All right, well, so we don't want to focus on the negative. We just want to protect you homeowners out there. It's really difficult coming out there and giving you an estimate. Jeff Brown from NV Landscape will agree. We're up against these guys. They have no license, they have no insurance, they go out there and they do their job cheap and they get a bad job and they don't know any better.
Not only are they operating illegally and they put homeowners at risk, the property at risk that's there, but you think about what it does even on a bigger picture, is that you are encouraging the underground economy, because if they're not paying for insurance, they're not paying their taxes. So that means essentially we're all subsidizing those people who don't contribute.
It's a welfare.
It's true, and I have to say that it's a huge competitive advantage for these folks who don't have insurance. They can underbid you all the time, and people need to make sure that they get the insurance certificates, and those insurance certificates are legit, by asking their independent agent to review them.
All right, so all my friends out there that know me personally, when we complain about certain people collecting money off of the government, it's because they're not working and they're not paying, and we don't like that, do we? So if you hire somebody that doesn't have the insurances that are required, he's probably not paying taxes, and your taxes are higher because he's doing what? He's collecting on both sides. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because I'll get elevated in my emotions, and we don't want that, do we?
We're also not allowed to swear on the air. So
did I swear yet?
No, I'm just saying.
Cool. Because anyone that knows me personally, I could do that when my emotions get elevated.
We are adamantly opposed to that. Just saying.
We are above that.
Yeah.
So we talked about saving money on homeowners insurance. Now we got earthquake insurance. Let's just talk about that, and then I'll get to Jeff Brown of NB Landscaping, number one landscaper in this valley.
Excellent. Jeff has come out and helped me out too, so I just think Jeff is wonderful. Anyway, earthquake insurance is
I will too for a fee.
Totally different.
And I do have insurance.
I'm just going to keep on going. Totally different than homeowners insurance. It's written differently. It's the coverage is different, and you should talk to your agent about it. Homeowners, anybody who writes a homeowners insurance in California, any insurance company that writes a homeowners insurance policy or a dwelling fire insurance policy in California is required to offer earthquake insurance, and they can offer it either through the California Earthquake Authority or they can offer it as their own policy. And they only have to offer a mini policy, which means basically just coverage for the structure. And at that, it's pretty menial. It's got a very high deductible and actual cash value and all that kind of stuff. So you can get some standalone policies written by independent insurance companies, I guess you could say, that provide some better coverage, and those are great. Some insurance companies offer better than just the mini policy. But the point is that earthquake insurance is expensive, it has a high deductible, and the coverage just isn't that great.
So you don't recommend it necessarily?
I wouldn't say I don't recommend it, but it violates.
It doesn't cover as much as you think.
It's not going to cover as much as you think. I know.
Real quick, before I forget, we're talking about earthquake insurance. What about flood?
Flood. You're required by flood from your, if you have a mortgagor that is required by
FEMA.
federal law to get it. So if you're in a flood zone, the mortgage company must require you to carry flood insurance, and that's only really offered through the National Flood Program.
FHA requires it, right?
It depends on where your house is.
We'll talk to our realtor next
week. It really just depends on where your house is.
But flood insurance, if there's a flood and your neighbors don't get flooded, you don't get paid, right? Isn't there something weird about that?
It has to be a flood. It can't
be a real flood.
Has to be a real flood. It's not damage from water. It's a flood. Rising flood waters from a flood.
Okay, but not everybody has that.
Not everybody is required to have it, and certainly not everybody has
all right,
it.
So you need to think about that if you're in the lowlands, like in the Placerita area, whatever. Okay. Ready for a break, Kyle?
I'm ready for a break. We're actually a minute late.
Thanks.
Yeah. John Fortman. You can email him at johnf@lbwinsurance.com, right?
That's right.
Okay. I read it right off your card, so I was hoping that would be correct. More Home 411 after this on AM 1220 KHTS.